Topping our lineup this Tuesday here on The Now, cybersecurity experts are warning that hackers are going after schools more than ever before, and ahead, what schools need to be doing about this. And robots, in many ways, it feels like they're taking over. They can bartend, even deliver room service. It has some people concerned what unions are doing to protect workers. And chocolate milk, it is a lunchroom staple, right? But now it's actually under fire. It may soon be banned in more places. We're getting into the impact of that ban.
Thanks, Chris. This is The Now Indy on RTV6. I'm Rafael Sanchez, in for Amanda Starantino. And looking to become Indy's next mayor, Jim Merritt took another shot at the Hogsett administration today, this time calling out the current mayor on his record with minority-owned businesses. Merritt stood in front of the Madam C.J. Walker building on Indiana Avenue, saying that the city has lost the initiatives that would support minority-owned businesses. He criticized Mayor Hogsett on the timing of a city-sponsored report that could show gaps women, minorities, and veterans may face when trying to work with the city to open businesses. Now, the study is scheduled to be completed in December, weeks after the election.
Just as the mayor has failed us on such issues as potholes and sky-high murder rate, he is failing our women and minority entrepreneurs in crushing small business growth.
And there was more to this. Merritt also criticized Mayor Hogsett for cutting $168,000 from the Office of Minority and Women Business Enterprises budget for the year 2020. But the Hogsett administration's campaign said the 2019 budget was high thanks to a one-time expense that will not repeat. Without that expense, the 2020 budget is actually up nearly $100,000, the Hogsett campaign told us today. Now, the campaign also released this statement on Merritt's claims. In part, spokesperson Heather Sager released this statement to RTV6. It reads, despite a 30-year history of voting against the interests of communities of color in Indianapolis, this morning's attempt to appropriate the legacy of Madam C.J. Walker for Senator Merritt's political benefit is equal parts crass and ironic, end quote. Kevin?
5:31, and we've got a mixture of clouds and sunshine across central Indiana. Record for today, 93 degrees. Actual temperature hit 81 in Indianapolis. We're still there. Let's look behind door number 1. 78 in Lafayette, temperature in Muncie in the low 80s. This is as close we've been to an average September day in a while. Temperatures through the evening hours will fall off gradually. Let's call it comfortable. The east wind around 10 miles per hour. Any clouds that we have will generally fade away, and skies will go mostly clear through the overnight hours. This is where we land tomorrow morning. Upper 50s to low 60s. Not a bad way to start the middle of the week. Afternoon temperatures tomorrow up a bit from today. We'll be at 78 at noon, about 86 for your afternoon high.
Medical records are at risk of being taken by anyone on the internet. An investigation by ProPublica and a German broadcaster found the records belong to more than 5 million patients in the U.S. A lot of the medical information came from insecure servers that are used in doctors' offices, medical imaging centers, and mobile x-ray services. In addition to medical data, personal information like names and social security numbers were also exposed. New findings are highlighting a need for more research on how medications impact children. Rutgers taking a look at just how often U.S. doctors are prescribing off-label medications to kids. Off-label can mean a couple of things. It's using medication for a condition other than what the FDA approved it for, like taking an antidepressant for ADHD, or it can be medication approved for adults or certain age groups of children, but not all ages. Now, off-label prescribing is actually a pretty common practice. It is legal as well. 1 in 5 prescriptions written today are for off-label use. Now, most of the time in kids, it happens to treat common issues like asthma or respiratory infection. Now, this can lead to a greater risk for side effects, but oftentimes the risk of not treating the issue is greater.
The reasons to prescribe a medicine off-label are simply because we know that it is a good medication in a certain situation or a certain age group. And if there really isn't a tremendous amount of reason to think that a clinical situation would be different in the off-label situation as opposed to the on-label situation, or if the benefit of using that medicine, for example, an antibiotic, may outweigh a risk, for example, not treating an infection.
Now, the Rutgers research found medications were most prescribed off-label in newborn and infant visits. It's always a good idea to talk about possible side effects of all medications with your doctor. Let's get to the Now News feed. Tensions are continuing to rise in the Middle East. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is headed to Saudi Arabia today. Pompeo blaming Iran for the attack on a Saudi oil field over the weekend. Concerns about pollution's impacts on pregnant women. New studies suggesting when a pregnant woman breathes in air pollution, it can travel beyond her lungs. Studies saying that it can impact her placenta that protects her fetus. The pollution has been linked to premature births and low birth weight. Trouble for Walmart. The Wall Street Journal reports the chain likely discriminated against female workers. U.S. agency says Walmart paid 178 female workers less than men or denied them promotions because of their gender. All right, let's get back to our lineup. And cybersecurity experts are warning hackers are going after schools more than ever before. Why now? And what schools need to be doing about this?
Welcome back to the Now Indy on RTV6. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, then this video of bikers strolling up to a little girl's lemonade stand is beyond comprehension. You have to see this. The story behind the video, it starts back in September of 2018. And that's when Darren Sturch and her young daughter, Brianne, pulled up on an accident involving multiple motorcycles on State Road 19 near Denver, Indiana. That's in Miami County. Sturch, a nurse, rushed to help those bikers, many of whom were airlifted to the hospital, but they all survived. And of course, that is the good news. Now, fast forward to this month. Sturch's little girl was having a lemonade stand, you see, and that same group of bikers could not resist stopping by for a cool glass to drink. Not only did they make the little girl's day, but Sturch says some of those bikers who showed up are the same ones she helped last September.
As students get settled into the school year, hackers are trying to take advantage. According to Mimecast, which is a cybersecurity provider, hackers have been sending more malicious emails this year to schools than ever before. Cybersecurity threats really aren't anything new, but what's elevating the amount of the threats is just how much schools communicate online. And a lot of information being emailed between staff, teachers, parents, even students is stuff that can put students at risk for identity theft. But some of that information could also be appealing to a predator. That's because schools have access to things like demographic information, discipline records, intellectual and psychological profiles. Now, while there are tools that can protect students and staff, experts say schools just aren't being proactive enough.
That's the hardest thing, is convincing people that these things are happening to them, right? And not just to someone else somewhere else far away, in their neighborhoods, in their schools, and they can take steps to prevent it.
Now, security experts say schools need to hire their own security professionals to act as gatekeepers and to be in charge of who requests and receives data. There are also apps for people to anonymously report threats. All right, let's start the Now News feed. The Army claiming victory in reaching its recruiting goal for this fiscal year. Largest military branch made its target amount lower than last year. So when the Army missed its enlistment goal for the first time in 13 years, leaders say they're now looking for more quality recruits. The federal government is spending less on children. The Urban Institute says it's the lowest since 2007. The government spending more now on Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and interest on the national debt. Well, here's a reason to try and be a morning person. A new study says teen girls who go to bed late, well, they may be more likely to gain weight. The National Institutes of Health reporting this. Researchers say an improved sleep schedule is a way to prevent childhood obesity. Still ahead in our lineup, more machines now doing the jobs that people used to be doing. We're seeing everything from robots that tell guests about hotel amenities to bartenders. What labor unions are doing to protect workers, and why all this automation may not be a bad thing.
RTV6 is working for you.
The Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport is the latest place dropping plastic straws. It says it's phasing them out starting today. More than 4 million plastic straws are used at the airport every year. It says most vendors will have alternatives available. But how do those plastic straw alternatives really hold up? Annie Taylor's putting them to the test.
I don't know about you, but whenever I drink something, I always have to use a straw. But nowadays, there are so many options to choose from. So we're going to figure out which one is the best one. Let's start with paper straws. Yes, they're easy, convenient, and disposable, but there's a few issues with them. You leave it in your drink longer than a minute and it starts to break down because it's ultimately paper. But also, I don't know about you, I'm a straw biter. And once you bite the straw, well, it closes it up and you can't even use it anymore. So you end up using more than one each time. Next option is the glass straw. Now, it's great because your glass is glass, this is glass, it doesn't get in the way of taste, but again, it's glass. So what makes me nervous is that this can ultimately break. But when it comes to cleaning, what's great about it is that it's dishwasher safe. Next up is probably going to be your favorite option if you love a really cold drink, the metal straw. Once you put it in a cold drink, it automatically gets cold itself. And the best thing too, it's very durable. But when it comes to cleaning, you need a second tool. Last but not least is my favorite straw, and that would be the silicone straw because like I mentioned, I love to chew on my straws. And if you do, it still bounces back to how it started. But when it comes to cleaning, if you have a smoothie, that can be the challenge because all the stuff gets stuck in there. Now that you know all the options, when it comes to pricing, the cheapest ones we found were a pack for $3 and the most expensive one was around $7. But at the end of the day, it's your preference. Whatever one you like, that's the one you should go for.
Now, I know with a couple of these, where can we get them? Because it's not necessarily, can you just walk into Target or something?
Yeah, I mean, some of the basic ones like the paper and the silicone, those can be at like big box stores or a grocery store. But for the glass and the metal, we can only find them online. So just know which one you like and where to find it.
Straw is just a completely different level.
Right? Who knew?
So different. All right, Annie, thank you.
Tonight, a warning before you rent that self-storage unit. Working for you, John Matteries shows you what can go wrong and then end up being really expensive so you don't waste your money.
Many of us rent storage units when we're between homes and apartments, and we put some of our most valuable clothing and furniture inside. But we have a warning about checking any storage unit for signs of mold before you move in. Stephanie Goldfuss heads into what she thought would be a clean, dry storage facility. But inside, the furniture she stored while moving appears to be covered in mold.
So it's kind of growing to the floor. We discovered some white stuff on our couch. I got the flashlight out and I noticed it was mold, white fuzz mold, all down both of our couches.
Now, mold really needs two things to start growing. One is darkness and the other is dampness, such as in a dark, wet basement. Well, Stephanie says she had both of them in her rental unit.
This is a small amount of water that has not gone away.
On the concrete floor, what appears to be condensation. But it's not just her unit. We spoke with two other first-floor renters who claim to have found mold, too.
We noticed that there was mold all over the furniture in a couple of boxes.
Gary Hawley says he purchased insurance that was offered by the storage facility, but it covers only major disasters like fire or flood. Does it cover mold?
It does not.
Meantime, don't let this happen to you. Inspect a storage unit for signs of bugs, mice, and moisture before you move in. And make sure your homeowner's or renter's insurance will cover any losses. Stephanie may be out more than $2,000.
My husband works hard to provide for our family, and we lost our furniture.
Bottom line, before you sign a contract, go over a storage unit with a flashlight and check it carefully for bugs or mold. That way, don't waste your money. I'm John Matteries for RTV6.
Another sign of fall, Victory Field is quiet. Rowdy has nothing to do right now. It's his off season as the mascot for the Indians. Beautiful evening. The mixture of clouds and sunshine today kept temperatures just above the 80-degree mark. We're dry the next 3 days. Then we see a chance of rain Saturday. The best chance of rain will come on Sunday, and cooler temperatures arrive for at least the beginning of next week. Not that these aren't that cool. They're cooler than we've been in quite a while. 78 in Greencastle and Lafayette, 77 in Tipton, 70s as you can see for Kokomo and Peru. Temperatures low 80s to the south. For the evening hours, our temperature in Indianapolis drops to 71 at 11 o'clock. The wind will be out of the east at 10. We'll continue then with clear skies through the overnight and wake up to a 63-degree temperature to start your Wednesday. We'll continue with the east wind. Tomorrow through the day, nothing but a fair weather cloud here or there. Otherwise, mostly sunny. Temperature a little warmer than today. Should push mid-80s in many locations. Temperatures as we get past sunset. Remember, the sun is now setting before 8 o'clock. We'll cool off again rather quickly. High temperatures tomorrow from north to south, warmer than they were today on average. About 84 in central Indiana. As you look at Thursday, the only change, we dial it up a little more. We're we'll make our move toward Friday's high of 88, which will be the warmest day of the week, but 86 on Thursday is what we expect. Over the next 4 days, you can see dry. Then we get to the chance for some thunderstorms on Saturday. The best chance comes, though, second half of the weekend.
Let's start the news feed with the General Motors auto workers going on strike this week. If you're in the market for a new GM vehicle, you won't feel the impact at this point. USA Today saying that GM stockpiled vehicles in recent weeks as the possibility of a strike grew. Well, make sure you don't have this flour. General Mills recalling 120,000 5-pound bags of gold medal, unbleached, all-purpose flour, so over possible E. coli contamination. Well, could we be closer to a cure for the common cold? Researchers say they could be onto something. The Stanford UCSF study found disabling a non-critical protein in cells could stop the viruses in half of all common cold, polio, and other diseases. Well, the trend of companies using robots can lead to people worrying about their jobs. Corey Rangel looking at the workers likely to be hit hard and what they're doing to fight this.
I think this is cool. I've never seen anything like it.
In Vegas, something is always new and flashy and fun.
The Tipsy robot is shaking up things in Las Vegas. These two robots are bartenders. They make drinks from the menu and can even make custom ones. If you look around Vegas, you'll see more and more machines doing the job people once did. Robots deliver room service to your door.
Breakfast is served at Sun Kitchen on the 3rd floor.
This robot greets guests and tells them about hotel amenities. And this bank of kiosks are set up to check in guests. Several studies show Las Vegas is one of the top cities in the U.S. in danger of losing jobs to automation. Nevada's largest labor union saw it coming and started working on a way to protect workers.
Okay, this machine gonna replace me. No, how are we gonna learn to use that machine?
Gioconda Arguello Klein is with the Culinary Workers Union, which represents about 60,000 hospitality workers. Last year, the union negotiated a new contract. If a machine could take away a worker's job, the contract requires casinos to pay for job training so the worker can learn a new skill and move into a new position or be offered severance pay.
The goal is people learning something new. You know, not to eliminate a lot of jobs.
Mark Murrow is with the Brookings Institution. He has studied job automation and says restaurant and hotel workers are most at risk. While those jobs may start to disappear, Murrow points out automation has also created work.
We've been in a period of intense automation for 40 years, and the total number of jobs in America has gone up.
The owner of Tipsy Robot, Reza Valanajad, says his business is generating jobs.
Yes, you for your business gonna, pay less people, but the other company has to hire more people in order to making those robots.
In Las Vegas, I'm Corey Rangel reporting.
All right, Corey, thank you. And LinkedIn is helping job hunters gauge their skills. The site just launched some skill assessment tests. They help users find their skill level on multiple things like computer languages, software packages, and other work-related skills. Users then get a badge that's visible on their LinkedIn page. Learning courses are also available. Here's something you may not think about when you fly. Just how clean is that water you're drinking on board? Well, there are water tanks on planes that are used to make coffee, tea, ice. Those tanks, they have to be tested at least 4 times a year. New York City's Hunter College ranked which airlines have the best quality water. It was on a scale of 1 to 5. They found Alaska, Allegiant, and Hawaiian Airlines were the top 3. But they only scored in the 3 out of 5 range. Big names like Delta, American, United all scored in the 1 range. Study also found the EPA rarely penalizes airlines that violate drinking water rules. A report by Zillow shows many of us are missing out on mortgage savings. Now, depending on the numbers, Zillow says if a homeowner upped their monthly payment rate by just 1%, they could save up to $40,000 over the lifetime of the mortgage. Zillow also emphasized that people with lower credit scores really need to shop around for loan interest rates, even if rates are at a historic low right now. All right, finally in our lineup, chocolate milk may soon be banned in more places. We're going to get into the debate over this and the impact that cutting the drink from the menu could have.